Morning to all. Hard work, perseverance, determination, and a strong spirit can conquer any challenge and accomplish. Is to train the staff on objective structured clinical examination, the OSCE. The curriculum pattern of nursing expects the nurse teachers to equip themselves with the knowledge on OSCE so as to pass it on to the students entrusted to them. With this intention, today a workshop is organized exclusively for the nursing faculty within Mangalore and state of Karnataka. We are very delighted to have with us guests, resource persons and enthusiastic nurse delegates. On behalf of the organization, we are glad to welcome you all to the workshop. We are pleased to welcome Dr. Haji Ukemono, Honorable Chairman, Kanachur Islamic Education Trust. The constant encouragement and support provided by our Chairman, Sir, helped us to organize the state-level workshop today. Dear Sir, we gratefully acknowledge your loving presence and offer a warm welcome to you. I request Mr. Kenneth Thomas to offer a flower. It's a great honor for me to welcome the esteemed chief guest of today's inaugural session, Dr. Lulu Sharif, Professor in Anesthesiology and Head of Healthcare Simulation Education, Father Muller Medical College, Mangalore. A dynamic personality in the field of simulation-based learning. She is well known for her wise and lively sessions. Many educators and healthcare professionals crave listen to her and get knowledge from her. Madam, your expertise will lead us to best practice into the OSCE and simulation training. You are a gem in the medical profession and many are your fans. I accord a hearty welcome to you, Madam. I request our Honorable Chairman, Sir, to welcome Dr. Lulu Sharif by offering a plant. Kalamat, Professor, Department of Pediatric Nursing, Kelly Institute of Nursing Science, Hubballi, Senate member of RGHS. He is with us today and consented to be the resource person for today's workshop. Already he has finished one session in the morning between 9:15 to 10:30. He is a Senate member of RGHS for the first time in the history of nursing for 2 consecutive periods since 2018, representing nursing fraternity. His in-depth knowledge and mentorship in OSCE will drive best practice in the nursing education. We extend a warm welcome to you, sir. I request our Dean, sir, to offer a plant and welcome Dr. Somshekaraya. Enthusiasm and help in orderly planning and implementation of the workshop. A pleasing welcome to you, sir. Delighted welcome to Dr. Shanavas, Dean, Kanachur Institute of Medical Sciences. Your prompt support, encouragement and presence has brought us joy, sir. Warm welcome to you. A cordial welcome to Dr. Harish Shetty, Medical Superintendent, Kanachur Hospital and Research Center. We are delighted to welcome Dr. Shamima, Principal, Kanachur College of Allied Health Sciences. Welcome you, Madam. To our Assistant Nursing Superintendent, Madam Josie. Welcome you, Madam. We are happy to have delegates who have arrived from various parts of Karnataka to take part in the workshop. We extend delegates. I welcome the media to broadcast this program. Welcome you, media persons. A special welcome to the HODs as well as to the faculty of Kanachur College of Nursing Sciences.
Thank you, ma'am. Dignitaries on the dais to come forward to light the ceremonial lamp. I request everyone to kindly rise for the ceremonial lamp lighting. Its significance and why it is essential. Therefore, I request Mrs. Carol Karishma Alphonse, Assistant Professor, Kanachur College of Nursing Science, to provide an overview of WASPI workshop.
Respected dignitaries on the days, esteemed guests, invitees, colleagues, and my dear participants and students. A very delightful morning to you all. It's a great honor to welcome you all to this workshop on achieving clinical acumen, OSCE strategies and skills. So, what exactly is OSCE? Should it necessary to implement in nursing curriculum? So, here I am today to shed a light on this topic. Today, we all have gathered together as an educator to discuss about essential components of modern healthcare education, that is OSCE. As a faculty members, it's our responsibility to mold our students into a competent healthcare professionals, especially in the field of nursing. Our main objective is to ensure that the care we deliver is of high standard, which involves not only theoretical knowledge but also the practical skills and competences, which meets the needs of real world patient care. And this is where OSCE plays a vital role. The OSCE, which stands for Objective Structured Clinical Examination, is a comprehensive assessment tool designed to evaluate clinical competency in a structured and practical way. Unlike traditional exams that test the theoretical knowledge to written questions, OSCE places candidate in real-life clinical scenario where they demonstrate their skill. Using simulated or standardized patient in OSCE provides a structured and controlled environment for students to demonstrate their clinical skill, ensuring that they are well prepared for real-world practice. These scenarios are divided into various stations, each focusing on specific tasks such as history taking, clinical making, decision making, or even some ethical challenges. So, why OSCE is important in the field of nursing then? In the field of nursing, OSCE plays an important role in ensuring that our students are not just knowledgeable but also capable of applying their learning in real-world clinical situations. The structured nature of OSCE allows us to assess both the clinical skills and soft skills such as empathy, communication, and professionalism, bridge the gap between the theory and practice by giving the students a chance in engaging realistic patient scenarios, ensuring that our nursing graduates are ready to handle the complexity of patient care with confidence and competence. So, why did we organize this workshop today? Indian Nursing Council, in its revised regulation and curriculum for BSc Nursing program of 2020, insists that learning in skill lab and simulation should be integrated throughout the curriculum. So this creates significant challenge for the educator who must understand guide and effectively organize an OSCE to accurately evaluate students' existing potentials. Faculty members play a crucial role in successful organization and execution of OSCEs. The purpose of today's workshop is to equip each one of us with knowledge and tools needed to effectively conduct and prepare for OSCE in the teaching practice. As educators, we play a pivotal role in ensuring the success of our students, and that begins with a deep understanding of how OSCE work and how to implement them effectively. Our primary goal is to deepen the understanding of OSCE framework and its significance in nursing education, to provide practical guidance on designing OSCE station that accurately reflects the clinical task of our students will face in their career, to discuss the development of objective and realistic assessment criteria to evaluate students' performance fairly and consistently, to train in providing constructive feedback, helping students not only pass their exam but also improve and grow in healthcare profession. In today's evolving healthcare landscape, the competency is a key. The OSCE is one of the most effective methods in ensuring that nurses possess the necessary clinical skills. As we progress through today's workshop, I encourage each one of you to engage effectively, share your insight, collaborate with your peers. By working together, we can refine our approach to OSCE and ensure that our students receive the highest quality education possible. Thank you for your commitment to this important aspect of nursing education. I look forward to an engaging and productive workshop where we all can enhance our skill as educators, ultimately benefiting the students and most importantly the patient we care for in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We are fortunate to have with us eminent personality as our chief guest, Dr. Lulu Sharif, Professor in Anesthesiology and Head of Health Case Simulation Education, Father Muller's Medical College, Mangalore. She has fellowship at Manipal International Institute of Leadership in Interprofessional Education, Masters in Healthcare Simulation and Patient Safety at National University of Ireland, Galway, Advanced Healthcare Simulation Educator from Society for Simulation in Healthcare. She was the first applicant from India to be certified. Executive Board Member of the Society for Healthcare Simulation India, Vice Chair of the Operation Board of International Journal of Healthcare Simulation, Advanced in Theory and Practice, volunteers as simulation educator and consultant to healthcare universities in Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu Healthcare Sector Skill Council. I request you, Madam, to provide a keynote address on the theme of workshop.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and especially Molly ma'am for that very kind and flattering introduction. So first of all, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for responding. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our president for today's function, Dr. Haji UK Mono. Thank you, sir, for all this, because unless the management is proactive, such activities won't happen, and I'm very pleased and very happy. Congratulations, sir. I also happened to listen to the end of Dr. Somashekar's session, and you can see the passion that was coming out, okay? And that's something we need from change makers, so thank you so much for that, because passion is very contagious. I'd also like to acknowledge the presence of Dr. Shanavas. I know, sir, and we've met on quite a few platforms. I'm sorry, sir, I won't be able to take the session today because I'm not keeping well, but I'll try to deliver for the next 10 minutes, whatever I can. You keep inviting me, I'll keep coming. Thank you, sir. Dr. Harish sir, thank you for your presence and being a part of the management. Dr. Shalu, Allied Council President, Allied College Principal. Nice to meet you. We'll keep meeting often because I'm very interested in interprofessional education. So we need to meet. Thank you, Molly ma'am. And Priya, thank you so much. Very humble. You're a privilege to have such leadership that has humility, passion, and very proactive in such programs. So thank you again to everyone on the stage. I acknowledge the presence of the Ayurveda faculty because as part of various councils and policy committees, we are forcing ourselves to drive interprofessional education. I'm very happy to know that Ayush members are also here because it gives joy to see the human resources coming out of their silos and at least sitting together in a hall, if not yet working together. Hopefully we'll reach there and we are trying to do that. Thank you so much to the delegates for attending and listening to such faculty development sessions. So with that introduction, I'll just take a few minutes to discuss on what's the scope of, I think a beautiful overview was given regarding OSCE. So I'm just going to step aside OSCE and give you a little bit about the scope of simulation. Why I'm here is because I'm very passionate about simulation-based training, and I never say no to an opportunity, however busy or however sick I am. What do you understand by simulation? What is the word bringing? Anything, it's a free session, your management not going. It's a very safe learning. Okay, non-threatening environment is the first key thing when we make professionals, not just students, to actually immerse themselves in a mimic real-time environment. That's what we are doing, right? You've listened to Sir's session. So we have simulated participants acting like patients. We are recreating an environment for you so that you can immerse yourselves and learn. And why are you doing it? Not to fly abroad. Why are you all doing it? Because the trend now is for everyone to fly abroad, and there's nothing negative about it, because considering our system and the salary and work-life balance, we do not discourage anybody. But in the end, what are we trying to achieve here? Why are we learning as healthcare professions? To keep our patients safe. That's our ultimate goal, not to pass the exam. With all the universities telling us to give grace marks, give 70%, give full-time attendance, they're leaving the seats and going, attrition is really high. With so many system issues, we want to bring about a potential tool so that we are responsible for what we are doing to the patient. And that patient is not anybody else. It's my father, my mother, my relative, my child. So once we start thinking like that, we will definitely advocate simulation, because tomorrow patients should be safe. And in our country right now, we should also be safe. If you don't keep your patients safe, we are not safe with what's happening in our country right now. So considering the potential of this very, very crucial tool, I'd like to discuss something about the scope. One is definitely for education. Today we talked about assessment. Another thing about innovation. And it's very nice because our Indian minds are very creative. And we need innovation in simulation because the myth is simulation is very expensive. You have high-end mannequins. You need a lot of task trainers. You need a lot of funding to keep these maintained. You need to pay a lot of human resources. You need to do faculty development and capacity building for these. Everything involves money. So if you want to give a business case to sustain simulation, we need to come up with low-cost solutions. So that's another point I wanted to tell you, and it comes from nursing field. Nurses were one of the first simulationists by just injecting into an orange. Okay? So it really needs a round of applause. Always applaud yourself. The world will tell us what we didn't do well. But once in a while, just reflect and see what you did well and pat your own back. You've done a lot of good things. So low-cost solutions, creative minds, you're not interested. You don't have the funding or the opportunity to use task trainers. You can do so many things. DIY, all the students know, do it yourself. So many innovations are coming. So I encourage young minds who are sitting behind, try to devise something, take it up as a research project. During your, you'll come to us for a lot of research projects and validating tools, and I'll try to do something on low-cost innovation, on how you can make some trainer which is feasible in our country to use. In the end, the outcome should be achieved. So that is another scope of simulation. Research, I don't have to tell, most of our nursing faculty are very adept and very organized in research. The amount of tools I get to validate from nursing faculty, there's a huge difference when my medical faculty give me those tools. I know it's an era of cut, copy, paste, and with ChatGPT giving us all the checklists, use it wisely. Sometimes it gives rubbish. So you can use it because we are time protected with multitasking as teachers, researchers, clinicians, so much work we have. So do use AI, but use it wisely. Just do not cut, copy, paste from what you're using. That's regarding research. And ultimately, our final goal is to take our simulation to the real patient care areas. Just take your nursing mannequin or a low-tech mannequin, take it to the casualty, put it on a stretcher, put some moulage, that is mock injury, shift, make one of your faculty or your PGs as the attender, make one of them as embedded nurse. All of you watch movies, write a script, validate it, push that mannequin. You don't need high gadgets, just push that mannequin in your casualty. See how they perform triage. See what are the lacunae there, how much time are they taking to actually do a first assessment. How much time is the clinician coming over there? How are they communicating and referring? Surgeon comes, touches the abdomen, I'm sorry, nothing is there, goes. Then the casualty nurse is busy calling the next neurosurgeon. How is that interprofessional teamwork happening? You want to shift the patient for a CT scan, head injury. What is the delay there? What about our radio technician over there? Is he adept? Patient collapses in the MRI room. What is he going to do? You get the results, you come back, you have to talk to the patient party, you have to break some bad news. Are we taught all that in our curriculum in a structured way? How can we teach? Very easy to teach theory and tell them pen and paper, exam, 70% done. But are you competent enough to reach a place where I can guarantee that my mother will be safe in your hands? We need to reach there. Don't you all agree? So to do all this, you take your simulation to the real patient care, you shift the patient to MRI, what is happening? Tomorrow the management wants to change, build new HDUs. They want to build a new ICU. Now you have to test before they build it. If the patient comes to this area, how far is the crash cart from that patient? If the patient collapses on the way, how far is the lift? Where is the security? If something happens to the patient, where is the privacy? How do we call a code? Will the patient party or media people come inside? So these things can be tested by just taking a pillow and putting it on the trolley and just moving the trolley in your corridors. That is called in situ simulation. Not just for enhancing our competencies, but to test our systems. Most of the time, our professionals are technically competent. Issues are 2 drugs kept at the same table. Today the nurse gave the wrong drug. Throw her out, cut her salary. Tomorrow another nurse will come and give the wrong drug. Why? Because there's a fault in the system. So use simulation for quality improvement. Use simulation to incident reporting, to reduce healthcare. We need to reach at that level. That is our vision. And that is why we are very strong advocates of simulation-based training. So this small thing I wanted to tell you, hoping that there will be some thought process and reflecting on how we can use this tool. Money definitely comes from the management, but how wisely can we use that money? And if they fund, and they have to fund because regulatory body requirements is You don't get the seat if you don't have skill lab and so many number of mannequins. But that's not our goal. They will fund if you show some return on investment. And how do you show return on investment? Not just by getting the money back from your fees, but we show return on investment by improving our patient safety indicators. We show return on investment by capacity building of our students and teachers. And that is why in skill lab, I go and take a lot of sessions on how to set up skill labs. But the only important key factors is not the crore mannequins. It is the human resources. And you need to role model. Very easy for a teacher to be very safe in the skill lab and say, no, if your doctor shouts like this, or if your nurse shouts like this, you have to do this. And in the ward, she's throwing books at you and she or he. It is not easy for us to keep abreast with what the children know. But try to do a little bit of self-directed learning when you have the free time, especially prepare for the topics you're taking. And from the student's end, how much ever we put the spoon in your mouth, you're not going to get it in your stomach unless you swallow. So motivation from your students is something that has to come. They're all adult learners. They're not kindergarten. And for the first time, I'm so happy to see that the nurses are not taking their notepad and writing notes. This is something we need to do away with. Try to listen. Listening is a very active skill. We are so used to our nursing students taking the notepad and writing. It just automatically becomes muscle memory. Try to listen to them, try to engage, try to interact. Because listening, why are you writing down? Because it's so strain, it's such a strain to listen. Everything is available, you don't have to write down. Everything at the tip of a finger is available. Ask the resource person for the materials, everyone's happy to share it. So with this, I think I've reached my time limit. So it's just a few things I wanted to mention because I'm very passionate about it. From passion to profession, any nursing educators, you all are interested in being certified simulation educators, our country needs you. And I'm very, very proud to say that the strength of my simulation center at Father Muller's is my nursing faculty. They need a round of applause. We started with an interprofessional team, including our biomedical engineers. So the first thing I request the management to do as part of the skill lab is, sir, please try to get faculty from all disciplines and try to make them teach together so that tomorrow they can.
ನಾನು ಕಳೆದ 10 ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಥ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಗಳನ್ನು ಏರ್ಪಡಿಸುವುದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬರಿಗೊಬ್ಬರು ಹುಷಾರಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮೋಲಿಸಾಲ್ಡನ ನರ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ವಿಭಾಗದ ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಂಥ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ವಿಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಈ ಟಾಕ್ ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದನ್ನು ಏರ್ಪಡಿಸಿ ಅವರ ಮತ್ತು ಅವರ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳ ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟನ್ನು ತೋರಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾನು ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರು ಅಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಭಾಷಣ ಮಾಡಿ ಇದನ್ನು ಹೇಳುವಂಥ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿನೂ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ನನ್ನ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲೇ ಒಂದು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಒಂದು ಉದ್ಭವ ಆಗುವ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ, ಯಾಕಾಗಿ ಈ ಥರ ಏನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೋಲಿಸಾಲ್ಡನ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ಗೆ ಏನು ನಿಲ್ಲುವುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಫಾದರ್ ಮುಲ್ಲರಿಂದ ಅವರು ಬಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಷಣ ಮಾಡಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಒಂದು 10 ಓಟು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, ಇದು BJPನೂ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ನೂ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಇನ್ನು ಏನು ಇದರ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ? ಲುಲು ಶರೀಫ್ ಅಥವಾ ಇವರು ಬಂದು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಂದ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು, ಅವರು 6:30 ನನ್ನ ಅಂದಾಜು 4 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಎದ್ದಿರಬೇಕು. ನಾನು ಕಣಚೂರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು, ಕಣಚೂರು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಭಾಗವಹಿಸಬೇಕು. ಈ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ನಿತರ ಅವರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸಿರಬೇಕು. ಇದರ ಅಗತ್ಯ ಏನು? ನನ್ನ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲೇ ಒಂದು ಯಾಕಾಗಿ ಇವರು ಬರಬೇಕು? ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ, ತಾನು ಕಲಿತಿದ್ದನ್ನು ತಾನು ಸಮಾಜಕ್ಕೆ ಕೊಡುಗೆಯಾಗಿ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ನನ್ನಿಂದ ಇದು ನಾನು ಸತ್ರು ಕೂಡ ತಾನು ನನ್ನ ಜೀವನ ಎಂಡಾದರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಕಲಿತಂಥ ವಿದ್ಯೆ ಎಂಡಾಗಬಾರ್ದು, ಅದು ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಶೇರ್ ಆಗಿ ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು. ಅವರು ಆ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ನನ್ನ ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನು ಅವರು ಸ್ಮರಿಸಬೇಕು. ಈಗ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಿ, ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ನೀವು ಕಲಿತ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನನ್ನ ಟೀಚರ್ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಉತ್ತಮವಾಗಿದ್ದರು, ಒಳ್ಳೆಯವರಾಗಿದ್ದರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನನಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಈ ವಯಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತದೆ. ಟೀಚರ್ನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನನಗೆ ಗೌರವ ಇದೆ. ನನ್ನ 3 ಟೀಚರ್ ಜೀವಂತ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಈಗಲೂ, ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲೇ ಇದೇ ಗ್ರಾಮದಲ್ಲಿ. ನನಗೆ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿಕೊಟ್ಟ ಪಾಠ. ಅವರು ಈಗಿನ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಹೊಡೆಯುವಂತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಮಗೆ ಹೊಡಿತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಚೌಕಿನ ಮೆತ್ತದಲ್ಲಿ. ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಅದರ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ, ಈಗ ದುಲು ಶರೀಫ್ರವರು ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಮಹತ್ತರವಾದ ವಿಷಯವನ್ನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸಿಕೊಟ್ರು. ಇದರ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಇಷ್ಟೇ, ಈ ನಮ್ಮ ಜನಾಂಗದ ಈ ನರ್ಸುಗಳ ಸೇವೆ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಉತ್ತಮವಾದದ್ದು, ಅದೆರಡು ಮಾತಿಲ್ಲ. ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ಗಳು ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಹಗುರವಾಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡೋದಲ್ಲ, ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ಗಳ ಸೇವೆ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಉತ್ತಮವಾದದ್ದು. ಅದೇ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮಿಗಿಲಾಗಿದ್ದು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಭಾವಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ನಾನು ರಾಮದೇವೇನಲ್ಲ ನರ್ಸ್ಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. ಆದರೆ ನರ್ಸ್ಗಳ ಸೇವೆ ಅತ್ಯುತ್ತಮವಾದದ್ದು, ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಕಠಿಣ ಪರಿಶ್ರಮದ್ದು ಅದು. ರಾತ್ರಿ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ಗಳನ್ನ ನೋಡುವ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ತಿಳಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ರು. ತನ್ನನ್ನು ತಾವು ಈ ದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ, ಈ ಸಮಾಜಕ್ಕೆ ಅರ್ಪಣೆ ಮಾಡಿದಂಥ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸ. ನರ್ಸಿಂಗ್ನವರಿಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಏನು ಆಸೆ ಆಕಾಂಕ್ಷೆ ಇರುವಂಥದ್ದಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಜನಗಳ ಸೇವೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ನರ್ಸಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಅವರ ಬದ್ಧತೆ, ಅವರ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿ ಮಾಡುವ ಶೈಲಿ, ಕಮಿಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ನೋಡಿದರೆ ನಮಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಆಶ್ಚರ್ಯ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ನಾನೆಲ್ಲ ಇದನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಬ್ಬ ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಮಂಗಳೂರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋದರೆ ಸ್ವರ್ಗಕ್ಕೂ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು ಮಾತನ್ನು. ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಕಣಜೂರು ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ನರ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಮೌಲಿ ಸಾಲ್ಡನ್ ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್, ಇನ್ನಿತರರು ನನ್ನ ಟೀಚರ್ಗಳು, ನಾನು ಯಾಕೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಮಾತನ್ನು ಕೇಳಬೇಕು? ನಾನು ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಕ್ರಮಬದ್ಧವಾಗಿ ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ನರ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಅಥವಾ 100% ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ರಾಜೀವ್ ಗಾಂಧಿಯಲ್ಲಿ. ನಾನು ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬರನ್ನ ಯಾಕೆ ಕೇಳಬೇಕು? ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಮಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗೋಕ್ಕೂ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೇತುವೆ ಅಡ್ಡ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ಹೊಳೆ ಇದೆ. ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವರ್ಗದವರೆಗೆ ಮುಟ್ಟಬಹುದು. ಅದೇ ಏನೋ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಮಂಗಳೂರಿಗೂ ಹೋಗೋಕ್ಕೂ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನನ್ನ ಹೇಳುವ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ, ನೀವು ಮಕ್ಕಳು, ನೀವು ಈ ದೇಶದ ಮುಂದಿನ ಈ ದೇಶನೆಯ ರಕ್ಷಕರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ತಪ್ಪಾಗಲಾರದು. ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಕೇರಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಇಂಥವರ ಮಹಾನ್ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳ ಅವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರುವ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಮಾತನ್ನು ತನ್ನ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಳವಡಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಆ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನು ನೀವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನೀವು 1 ನಿಮಿಷ ಅವರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಅವರು ಹೇಳುವ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಅವರು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಲೆಕ್ಚರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಬಗ್ಗೆ 1 ನಿಮಿಷ ಆಲೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ನಾನು ಫಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ ಮಾತನ್ನು ಯಾಕಾಗಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ರಾಜೀವ್ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿಯ ಸೆನೆಟ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಹಲವಾರು ಕೆಲಸಗಳಿರ್ತದೆ, ಹಲವಾರು ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿಗಳಿರ್ತದೆ. ಅಂಥದ್ರಲ್ಲೂ ನಿಮಗೆ ಈ 1-4 ಮಾತು ಹೇಳಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ನಿಮಗೆ ನಾಲೆಜನ್ನು ಒಳ್ಳೇದು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಏನು ಅರ್ಥ, ಏನು ಅವರ ಸೇವೆ ಮಹತ್ವ ಏನು, ಅವರು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರುವಂಥ ಅವರ ಸೇವೆಯ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನು, ಅವರ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯವನ್ನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದನ್ನು ನೀವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ನೀವು ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ ಆಲೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ. ನಿಮಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅವರು ಹಲವಾರು ಕಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಹಲವಾರು ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಅಥವಾ ನರ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಥರದ ಟಾಕ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರ ಕಾಲ ಕಳೀಬಹುದು, ನನ್ನ ಕಾಲ ಕಳೆದ ಹಾಗೆ ಅವರ ಕಾಲವೂ ಕಳೀಬಹುದು. ಆದರೆ ಅವರು ಕಲಿತಂಥ ವಿದ್ಯಾಭ್ಯಾಸ ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಪುನರಪಿ ಉದ್ಭವ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಆ ಮೂಲಕ ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬರು ಲುಲು ಶರೀಫ್ ಅಥವಾ ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬರು ಇವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಸೋಮಶೇಖರ್ ಅವರ ಆತ್ಮ ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಉದ್ಭವ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನುವ ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಅವರಿಗೆ. ಆ ಉದ್ದೇಶಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಅದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ನೀವು ಕಲಿಯಿರಿ. ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಉತ್ತಮ ನರ್ಸ್ಗಳಾಗಿ ಈ ದೇಶ ಮತ್ತು ಈ ಪ್ರಪಂಚದ ನಾನಾ ಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ, ನಾನು ದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲೇ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ತಪ್ಪಾಗ್ತದೆ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆಲೋಚನೆ ವಿವಿಧ ಹಂತಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಬೇಡ ಅದು ಸರಿಯಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವಕಾಶ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದರೆ ನೀವು ಹೋಗಿ ನೀವು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದರೂ ಕೂಡ ನೀವು ಕೋವಿಡ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೋ ಲಂಡನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟ್ಲ್, ಒಂದು ನರ್ಸಿಂಗ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಭಾರತೀಯ ಒಂದು ನರ್ಸು ಅವಳ ಇದು ವೆಂಟಿಲೇಟರ್ನ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ ಆದ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ಗಳ ವೆಂಟಿಲೇಟರ್ನ ತೆಗೆದು ಅದನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದನ್ನು ಸಾರಿಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮತ್ತೊಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಳವಡಿಸುವುದು. ಯಾಕೆಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇದಾದರೂ ಬದುಕಲಿ, ಅದು ಶತ್ರು ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಸಾಯುವುದೇ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡಿ ಆ ಥರದ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬೆಡ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ವೆಂಟಿಲೇಟರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ತುಂಬಿ ತುಳುಕ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಪೇಷಂಟ್. ನಮಗೆ ಇದು ನೋಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನಾನು ಮೊಬೈಲಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಆ ಒಂದು ವಾತಾವರಣವನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇದೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ನೀವು ಮನಗಂಡು ಉತ್ತಮ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಾಗಿ ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದನ್ನ ಚಾಚು ತಪ್ಪದ ಮನದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಳವಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನನ್ನ ಮಾತನ್ನು ಮುಗಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಜೈ ಹಿಂದ್.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, ma'am. Gratitude is the fairest blossom which springs from the soul. Now I call upon Professor Sherin Joseph, Vice Principal, Coimbatore College of Nursing Science, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good morning to everyone. On behalf of Coimbatore College of Nursing Sciences, I am privileged to extend the heartfelt gratitude to all of you contributed to the success of this state-level workshop on achieving clinical acumen, OSCE strategies and skills.